If you think you've never been waterboarded, think again. How does that relate to the music industry? That's what we're going to talk about on this episode of the Steve Freeman Podcast. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Steve Freeman Podcast, the real, raw truth about the pursuit of success in music, business, and life. Here's your host, hit songwriter, multi-platinum selling producer, and serial entrepreneur, Steve Freeman.
Hey guys, I'm Steve Freeman. Welcome back to the Steve Freeman Podcast. We are not in the normal studio. I am in my recording studio at the house. I wanted to go ahead and do a video version of the podcast that goes along with the audio version of the podcast, but I'm kind of taking off until the first of the year. So here we are in this setting, and it's kind of nice being in here, to be honest with you. It's good to have you here. While you're here, don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Be sure on iTunes, Apple Podcast, leave us 5 stars and leave a written review. Starting next year, we're going to give away a $100 Amazon gift card to a lucky person that leaves a review, and then we'll feature a review on the podcast, and we'll get with you and give you your $100 gift card. That's one of the new things we're going to be doing in 2020. Looking forward to it. Let's see, what else? Oh, social media. Follow me on social media at the Steve Freeman everywhere. I'm on Instagram the most. Also, those of you that are not taking the Artist Development Masterclass but want to, it's going to be free until February 1st. I highly suggest that you kind of get your ass in gear. If you want to take it, sign up, register for it now. It's absolutely totally free. You can find that at thestevefreeman.com. All right, those of you that do love the video versions and you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. Give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment about what you thought about today's episode of the podcast. Do all that for me if you wouldn't mind. I greatly appreciate it. All right, into today's topic, waterboarding. Yes, we're going to talk about waterboarding. I went in earlier today to get my hair cut, and the lady that was cutting my hair, she was a singer. It's hard to imagine anybody in Nashville is not a singer. She was a singer, and we were talking about how music is so much different now than, what it used to be. We all know that. There's a huge quality difference. There's a lot of things that are different. And we could go back and forth and argue on whether or not that's a good thing, that's a bad thing. That's another podcast coming soon. But she was talking about it's like it's the same thing over and over and over again, and we're force fed, and talking about if it is really what people like or not. And I just, what flowed out of my head was, I just immediately said, yeah, it's entertainment waterboarding. And I had never really thought of it in that context before, but that's exactly what happens to us. That is exactly what's going on in the music business right now, is we are being waterboarded. It is, and for those of you, I'm going to run through this real quick because I'm sure there's somebody that's going to say, what is waterboarding? We have to do that these days. There are people that don't know. Waterboarding is a form of torture. Been a lot of movies made about it lately. I just watched one on Amazon the other day. But it is a form of torture where they put you in a chair, they lean you back, and they cover your face with a cloth, and then they pour water over your face. And it's supposed to simulate drowning, like what it feels like to drown. Don't know, never been waterboarded. I don't know if that's what it really feels like. Maybe if one of you, I'm not even going there. I'm going to get in trouble. If I go there, I'm going to get in trouble, and I'm not doing that. But anyway, like I said, supposedly it's supposed to feel like you're being drowned. And then you'll give up, anything people want to know. You'll tell them right away because you want it to stop. Well, that is basically what the major labels are doing to us. They are setting us down in a chair, and they are leaning us back, and they are putting a cloth over our face, and the water is the music they're feeding us. It's just the same 10, 15, 20 artists with the same song over and over and over and over again, and we're drowning. I'm going to let some of you catch up because some of you, it's just now hitting you and you're going, fuck me, that's a good analogy. And it really is. I'm patting myself. Look, those of you on YouTube, you can see I'm patting myself on the back right now. But that's what's happening. We are literally being tortured. And we're about at the point, from everybody that I talk to, of drowning. Our lungs are full of the water. And in this case, it's full of this shit music that just keeps being forced down our throats by this way of entertainment and music waterboarding. Here's what I kind of want to talk a little bit about today. And that is that so many of you listening, you artists, you songwriters and producers, you are out there right now 110% agreeing with me. You're all shaking your head and you're all going, hell yeah, Steve. It's exactly right. Then riddle me this, Batman. Why are every single one of you running around trying to write the same kind of songs, produce the same kind of songs, and be the same kind of artist as what we're being waterboarded with? I don't ever hear a new artist come with something new. And if you're in, and I wanted to talk about this because we've got a week left, 2 weeks left in this year, and we've got an opportunity with 2020 coming, and it's going to be all new, brand new start, brand new year, an opportunity and a chance to do something different. So I implore you to please stop waterboarding us. Stop torturing your fans or your potential fans. Stand out, be different, do something different. For fuck's sake, give us a break on the torture. And it sounds horrible to put it that way, but I am going to put it that way because I get a lot of emails and inquiries. Say, Steve, will you check this out? Will you listen to my music and tell me what you think? And 99.999% of the time, it's exactly what everybody else is doing. And I understand the philosophy. You're thinking that if you're an aspiring artist or you're an aspiring producer or songwriter, that if you are the kind of artist or you write the kind of songs or you produce the kind of music that is popular, quote unquote popular, that is like what's being force-fed, that everybody's going to automatically love you too, or you're going to get the attention of the major label just like that artist did, or you're going to get the cuts like these other songwriters do because you're writing the same kind of stuff they are. That is not the case. You can get up from now until Jesus comes back, and you can hit and bang on that wall, and it is not going to happen. What's happening and what's going on right now, let me set the scene for you. The labels have closed their doors to outside. Even artists. Right now, every major label knows every project that they are going to put out for the next 2 years. If you're starting out and trying to get that attention, even if you do somehow manage to get their attention and you get on their radar, it's still 3 to 4 years before you're ever going to see the light of day. So you're not immediately going to get into this mix. Same thing goes with you producers. Same thing goes with you songwriters. They have a plethora of songs. They don't need you. They don't need your song. That being said, why not take the opportunity then to go, I could look at this, that one way to really get noticed in this business that is extremely overcrowded and oversaturated is to do something different. I very rarely ever see an artist, a songwriter, or a producer that is anxious about doing something different, about doing something that is not there. When you look out there and you see, okay, this artist is doing this, and it seems to be popular, this artist is doing this, these songwriters are writing these kind of songs, instead of getting on their bandwagon, create your own fucking wagon. Yes, maybe you're the only one riding on it for a little while. But I'm telling you, if you want to have success moving forward, this is what you're going to have to do. You are going to have to be, sound, look, and produce a different kind of music to get noticed. I may have used this analogy before, but have you ever seen I think it's a motivational poster. And it was put out, you used to could find them in like doctor's offices and legal offices and stuff. And I think all these people were subscribed or bought all this stuff at the same website. But it was a series of motivational posters. And they all said different things, had different pictures. One of them had a picture of it was a bunch of people in New York City, and they all had black umbrellas. And then there was this one lady with a red umbrella. And I don't remember what the message is, but my takeaway from that is exactly what you need to be aiming to be, the red umbrella. Why are so many of you out there insistent on just being another black umbrella in the picture? There's no way for you to stand out like that. You are not going to get noticed that way. We are at I'm going to use a big word here. We're at the precipice of a new beginning, a brand new year. Don't carry your mistakes of 2019 into 2020. And by that, I mean mistakes that you may not be aware of that you're making. If you right now are exactly where you were this time last December 18th, if you're playing the same bars, you've gotten the same amount of cuts, you've produced the same music. If you're exactly today where you were December 18th, 2018, then you need to change. Then you are a black umbrella. What this is going to require of you to do is to sit down and think very focused and critically about yourself and the direction that you're heading. And you can't sit around anymore and go, people aren't getting what I'm trying to do. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep hammering on that. I'm going to keep waterboarding these people until they get it. You can't do that. So if you are in the same position, playing the same bars, the same shows, writing with the same people, and you don't see a markable difference between where you were this time last year and where you are now, then you need to change directions. It's time for you to do something else. You have got to come up with a new plan, something different, something new, because what you're doing isn't working and time is not your friend. I don't care if you're listening to this and you're 15, you're 16, you're 17. I don't care. Those of us in our 40s, time is really not on our side. But I'm telling all of you, nobody listening right now is time on your side. You don't have another year to figure it out. You don't have another 2 years to find yourself or figure out what it is and where it is that you fit in to this scheme. When you break it down and you start thinking about it, your attempt at trying to fit in is the reason you don't. Period. End of story. I've harped on this so much in the past because I'm going to keep harping on it until people start fucking listening, because you try so hard to fit in. We've been told that there's an association thing. It's a big thing that goes on in social media. And I watched a video today of an idiot on YouTube telling people how to use Instagram. He's a guitar player, producer extraordinaire, all this, although he's never done anything of merit. Yes, he's one of those people I talked about a couple of weeks ago that I just hate. He's on there telling people how to use hashtags, and he's telling them the exact wrong way, saying use the most popular hashtags. Only use hashtags that people have a million searches. Your post, if you do that, is never going to be seen. Fish in smaller pools. All of you are so worried about being out in the middle of the ocean and being a big fish in the ocean when you're just one of 10 billion. Find a smaller pond. Fish in a smaller pond. Or flip that scenario and be the big fish in a small pond. This is one of the things I go into detail with the Artist Development Masterclass about how to grow an engaged fan base. Those of you that are taking the masterclass, you'll understand a little bit of what I'm talking about. But we've got a very important time coming up because the music business is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking even more by the day. The way that things are right now, it will not be that way 6 months from now. Labels are getting smaller. The budgets are getting smaller because less and less money is being made. Stop trying to find your way to fit into that system and find your own system. It's like I said, yes, you may be out there by yourself for a little while, but where the fuck are you right now? I see that so often. Artists are scared to make changes, and they're scared to head in a different direction when they're still standing at square one. And you are afraid to make a mistake. You're afraid to go this direction, that direction, or over here because you're afraid of making a mistake. You're afraid that you're going to fail. Newsflash, you are going to fail. You're going to fail many, 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 many times. But that's okay. As long as you use that failure to learn and educate yourself and use the lesson that you've learned to help form your decision making in the future and not repeat the same mistakes, then you're going to be all right. What I find is that many of you continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. The definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So yeah, many of you out there, you are just crazy. You're just insane. Stop being crazy. Stop being insane. Look, success in this business is not hard. Matter of fact, success in the entertainment/music business is easy. It is super easy. But the one thing that it does require is that you, like we've talked about in the past, make that line and separate being famous from being successful. Stop focusing all of your time, effort, energy, and passion on the perception of being famous and start focusing that on the reality of being successful. Talent. I was talking to the lady cutting my hair today. What is the correct term? I feel degrading when I call them hairdressers for whatever reason. I don't know. Is that somebody let me know in the comments? Is that degrading? I don't know. So I'm going to say lady that was cutting my hair. I also feel that hairdresser is like a socioeconomic thing. I think if you work at a Fantastic Sam's, you're a hairdresser. But like when you work at an Aveda salon, it's almost demeaning. I'm probably getting myself into trouble here. I better shut up. Anyway, back on track. The lady who was cutting my hair, we were talking about talent. And again, many of you are under the misconception that your talent is going to take you where you need to be and where you want to go, and it will not. Talent is not what people are looking for. Labels, publishing companies, management companies, booking agents, all of these things that you guys want, they are looking for something that is already making money, something that is already successful, that they can use their power to make more successful, to make more money. So many of you are worried about step 37 when you're not even at step 1 yet. Some of you are at step 5, still eyeing step number 37 through 40. It's one step at a time. It's one decision at a time. But I find if you go into this new year and you are thinking about making your next step, being unique, being different, standing out, not being a black umbrella, being that red umbrella that stands out, I promise you, you are going to get noticed more than everyone else. I think it also is going to require you to change a little bit of your scenery, and that is stop hanging out with a bunch of other black umbrellas. Find and hang out with people. Involve your creations, involve your songs and your production and your artist career. Expose yourself to things that are more like red umbrellas than black. Look for opportunities to stand out. Don't post the same damn thing on Instagram that everybody else is posting on Instagram. I made a comment on one the other, especially female artists. Girls, please, please. Your boobs have nothing to do with your new single unless the title of your new single is, "Hey, look at my tits." That's the only reason that you should be showing them on Instagram and then in the description talking about your new single. Unless it has to do with, I'm serious. Guys, You guys are doing the exact same thing with the skinny jeans and the combat boots. It's like, is it a Gap ad or are you talking to me about music? Be proportionately relevant to the message that you're trying to get out there, but also understand and try to get to know the audience you're putting it out there in front of. So many of you do it so wrong that you are actually turning off potential fans before they even get to know you. I can see something on Instagram or Facebook. I can see the visual. Newsflash. I don't know if you know this or not, but music is a visual format now. It is not about the music. It's about the visual. People make a decision on whether they're going to engage with something or not, especially audio, based on what it looks like. I can tell you by looking at a post on Facebook if it's something I want to listen to, if it's a song. I can look at it and go, nope, that's going to suck. Or I'm just going to be waterboarded. It's just going to be the same thing. All these things are, and I'm giving you a lot to think about. And it sounds like I'm kind of being an asshole today, and I'm not. But it's important. We've got limited time. And you are on the edge of this new year, looking over the edge into possibilities of endless proportion. There's nothing that says you can't be different. There's nothing that says you can't change direction. There's nothing that says you can't start in a more successful direction in 2020. Again, if you are sitting here thinking to yourself and strategizing for 2020, using the same steps and plan of action that you had for 2019, you are going to be sitting here December 18th, 2020, getting ready to do the same thing again that you've done for the last 2 years that leads you nowhere. And that's what I don't want for you guys. So if I sound like I'm being a little preachy, sound like I'm being a little harsh, it's because I am. It's because I do hear from so many of you that listen to this podcast or watch the podcast or taking the masterclass or DM me on social media. I see what you're doing. I know so many of you are very talented and you have so much to offer, but you are wrapping it in the wrong vehicle. You are wrapping really good shit in a Ford Pinto. Nobody wants it. And nobody wants to be made to feel like they're being waterboarded. Give your fans and potential fans a breath of fresh air. Lift them up out of that chair, remove the cloth, and throw away the water. Stop torturing your fans. Please. Okay, sorry. I know it was kind of soapboxish today. I'm sorry. But thank you for joining me for another episode of the Steve Freeman Podcast. We will be off next week because it is Christmas, by God, and we're going to be holly and we're going to be jolly and we're going to rock around the Christmas tree. I hope all of you have an amazing holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. If you don't celebrate them, none of them, that's cool. You're missing out on some fun if you don't, but whatever your religious beliefs are. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I'm looking forward to the changes that we're going to be making and having a very successful 2020 together. Don't forget, if you're watching this video on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon so that you're notified anytime I upload a new video, a new episode of the podcast, or go live, which we're going to start doing on Monday nights now. If you are listening to the podcast on iTunes or Apple Podcast, please leave us 5 stars and leave a written review. That helps keep us in Apple's top 200 podcast. Do it now if you haven't done it. Please. If you haven't already, go take the Artist Development Masterclass. I can log in and see exactly how many of you are taking it and by your name where you are in the process. Over 750 of you guys have registered, and I know to the number how many of you guys are taking it. So get busy with it. Start taking it. New lesson this week. We're talking about selling and distributing your music. So that's pretty cool. You don't want to miss it. Lesson 4 this week. 7-week online course we're in the middle of. The Artist Development Masterclass. It's available at my site for free until February 1st, thestevefreeman.com. You can join my inner circle there. You can find out everything in the world that you need to know right there at thestevefreeman.com. And if you're not, I would love to have you follow me on social media at @TheSteveFreeman. Guys, until next time, keep being creative, keep pressing the boundaries, and there's nothing wrong with being independent. See you in the next one.